Talking About Nothing number 12, ladies and gentlemen. This is Real English Radio. I'm your host, Tony Kaizen, coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, DFW. Ladies and gentlemen, the good old DF dub. And just in case you don't know, DFW stands for Dallas Fort Worth. Because an interesting thing about this city is really two cities, Dallas and Fort Worth. They're two cities right next to each other, kind of connected by these smaller cities, and they call the entire metropolitan area Dallas Fort Worth. So yeah, coming to you live from the Lone Star State. You know what I'm talking about? Down here in the South. Back in the States, man, it feels really, really good. I'll be honest with you. I'm here visiting my dad, get to see my brothers and his 17 children. And it feels good, man. It feels good. I haven't been back in the U.S. for over a year and a half, I think. Something like that. Some crazy shit. And it feels good, first of all, to be back in a place where you're expected to speak English. You know what I mean? I love being overseas. I love learning and speaking different languages, interacting with people from different cultures, taking in the sights, living like a local, blending in. You know me, man. You know my style. You know how I do it. But goddamn, it feels good to be back in the land of the stars and stripes, the land of the free, the home of the brave. It feels good. I definitely noticed some differences, man. First of all, everything is twice as expensive as it was when I left. Jesus fucking Christ. What is going on in this country? We need a fucking revolution or something, man. And you also noticed, like, having been overseas for all that time, you immediately notice differences like in infrastructure, the car size, the streets, the way people behave and deal with each other, the way people talk and dress, the housing, the food, everything. You know what I mean? It's like the differences are very noticeable, very apparent immediately when you get back to the States. It's like, damn, this really is like another world. Everything's different. And I already miss Thailand. I'm trying to go back. I'm half serious about that because it is good to be home, good to see the fam, good to eat some In-N-Out burger, bro. They got In-N-Out in Texas. I've had that shit like 35 times in 2 weeks. And it's fantastic. You know what I'm saying? It feels good. And one of the first things that I did when I got back, oddly, was get a pedicure. Got my first pedi back in the land of the Andretti. I couldn't find a word that rhymes with petty. Anyway, yeah, I got my first pedicure, bro. And maybe you don't know what that is. Maybe it's a completely different word in your language. So first, let me explain where I got it. I went to a nail salon with my father, which was something I never imagined I would do. And a nail salon is where people go to get manicures and pedicures. A manicure is where they do your nails, on your hand, right? Manicure, I guess it's Latin, like las manos, las manitas, and pedicure has to do with the feet, like podiatrist, I believe, is foot doctor. So pedicure, feet, manicure, hands. There you go. Now, I wasn't getting my nails painted or anything like that, but, you know, just they get in there and remove all the dead skin and cut your toenails and get the fungus out of there and give you a hand job and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do the hands, but we went and got pedicures because my dad's lady friend is obviously big into that stuff. And she convinced him to give it a try. And now he does it every once in a while. And he's like, man, it's relaxing. You know, you got to try it. I think you're going to like it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to go let some stranger play with my feet. The fuck? I wasn't very open to the idea. Really my whole life. I never thought, man, I should go get a pedicure. I should go get my feet done. You know what I mean? Because generally that's not something that we do. And there's nothing wrong with it. Honestly, I would say go try it. You know, open your mind a little bit because it wasn't bad. It's just not something I would ever imagine myself doing. But anyway, we get to the nail salon and it was a whole experience, bro. We go in there and the ladies are like, How you doing? You're handsome. Love the mustache. You want my daughter's phone number? She's 25. You should talk to her. You want a drink? You want some whiskey? Hand job? You want something like that? Have a seat. And so you walk in there, and on both sides of the establishment, there are nothing but massage chairs. Electronic massage chairs. So they tell you to have a seat, and in front of the massage chair, there's a small tub that they fill with warm water when they're going to play with your feet. So we sit down. She starts running the water up in the tub. It's nice and warm, very relaxing. I feel very out of place. I feel like a fish out of water because, again, I'm not excited about the idea of some strange woman playing with my feet. I'm not a foot type of guy. I don't want to put my feet on other people. I don't want people putting their feet on me. You understand what I'm saying? So it was just bizarre for me. Like, I don't even know the woman's name now that I think about it. I didn't even say, hello, I'm Tony. Your name is? She was just like, no, have a seat, get comfortable, put your feet in the tub, get those shoes off, put that toe in my mouth. I love you. It was very just straightforward. You know what I mean? So the water's coming up. It's nice and warm. Got my toes in there, trying to relax. And she goes and gets a bunch of, what would you call them? Not accessories, but I don't know what I would call them. But she had a little bit of aloe vera, which is like some kind of gel or herb or some shit. Good for the skin. She got orange slices. She got salt. And started rubbing all that shit on my feet. I guess to exfoliate. I honestly don't know what the purpose was. I didn't ask. I was just kind of going with the flow, you know, trusting my dad here. And it wasn't bad. It tickled a lot. I'm very ticklish on the feet. You know what I mean? And ticklish is a word that we use to describe someone who very easily is, like when you were a kid, your older brother or sister, your mom or dad, your grandparents, whatever, they use their fingers and they dig them into your rib cage, the side of your body, and it makes you laugh. It's so overstimulating. It doesn't feel bad, but it's uncomfortable. It's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, like with babies and shit, you tickle them and make them laugh. So if somebody is very susceptible to that overstimulation, they are ticklish. I'm very ticklish, which means like you don't have to do a lot in order to tickle me. That's the verb, to tickle someone. So she's playing with my feet and shit, and it just tickles. Because I'm not the type of guy that gets his feet played with on a regular basis, so it's very sensitive down there. And she's using fucking cheese graters to shred off all the dead skin. I couldn't believe how much skin came off the bottom of my foot. And she's just down there grinding and fucking doing her thing, a saint of a woman. I don't understand how people do that. You couldn't pay me to rub the dead skin off of a stranger's feet. You know what I mean? So God bless her, because I don't have pretty feet. I have ugly feet. But she was getting right in there, man, and giving me the full service. They even offer you drinks, bro. They offer you alcohol. But I was like, nah, I'm just down to 16-pack. I'm fucking good. 16-pack. They don't even sell 16 packs, but you know what I mean. I just I was raw dogging it. I was straight sober, getting my feet played with, and it lasted about 40 minutes, I think. She cut the toenails and took the dead skin off and rubbed some herbs and spices and honey and butter and shit on my feet. Was massaging my ankles and my calves and telling me how good I looked and that I have very suckable feet and all that shit. She gave him a few licks. She said it was very salty. She loved it. And we had a good time. You know what I mean? And before I knew it, we were done. Left out of that place feeling like $1 million. I wanted everybody to see my toes. I had flip-flops on and shit and was feeling goddamn good. But I'll probably never go back. I'll be honest with you. Not that because it was bad. It's just like, I don't know. I don't have the patience for that type of shit. You know what I mean? Sitting in a chair 45 minutes while this woman plays with my feet. I'm like, dude, I can soak my feet at the crib. I cut my toenails every week, every 2 weeks or whatever it is. I don't need this shit. $70 it was, too. $70 for somebody to cut my toenails and tickle my feet. The fuck is that, bro? Ladies, like, I actually reached a new level of appreciation, too, bro, because I have some concept of how much money ladies have to spend on pampering themselves, hygiene, beauty products and shit like that, keeping the hair done, keeping the nails done and the feet done and getting shaven and the fuck, all that shit. I have some concept of that, but $70 for a pedicure? You got me all kinds of fucked up, bro. So I was like, this was an experience, but like a one-time experience. You know what I mean? Apparently my brother does it too, which surprised me. He said every once in a while he'll go, he said the key is to get drunk before you go. Down a 6-pack of beers or have a few whiskeys and then go recline that massage chair, cut that bitch on and let him diddle your diddlers, tickle your toes. And it's a whole thing. But I doubt I'll ever know what that's like because I can't see myself getting another pedicure. But shout out to all the ladies, man, who take the time. Jesus Christ, how much time you probably spend getting your hair done and your nails done and your feet and all that shit, and then the money that goes into it. Much love to y'all. All the ladies keeping their hygiene in check, staying pretty, because I've talked about this before on the podcast. Ugly hands and feet are such a turnoff, bro. Jesus Christ, it's like looking at fucking Cruella de Vil or some shit, like I don't know, bro. It's a turnoff. So, ladies, shout out to y'all. Keep those toes pretty. But your boy, I think I'm gonna just have to rock the eagle claws the rest of my life because I'm not doing regular pedicures. Anyway, that was an experience here in the good old DFW, man. One that I thought I'd never have. But now I can say I've done it. You know what I mean? I think some stuff in life, it's good just to get the experience. I'm not trying to make it a regular thing. But I'll try many things once. I was going to say anything, but I won't. I won't try anything once. But I'll try many things once. You know, I'm pretty open-minded, pretty open to new experiences. But that's what, like I said, probably 3 or 4 times now. That was like a one-timer. I think I'm good on the feet touching. Anyway, another thing that I really got into or have gotten into since I've been back is working out, bro. Going to the fucking gym. Now, for all the OG listeners, the radio heads, if you will. Actually, let me run that by you because that term I just used, Radiohead, was something I came up with. I didn't invent the term, but I came up with recently because one of my favorite podcasts, Tuesdays with Stories, hosted by comedians Joe List and Mark Norman. Y'all got to check it out. They call their fans or their listeners, their supporters, Tuesgays. And it's like a play on word, the word Tuesday, and they're calling their listeners gay. Now, that might not make a lot of sense to you if you're not American, and obviously English isn't your first language. But gay, especially if you were born in the 90s or before that, most of the time does not mean homosexual. So that might be confusing to you why they would call their listeners gay, but they don't mean it like that. I'll save that for a different episode because it would take a bit of time to explain that. But anyway, that's what they call their fans. It's a joke. They jokingly call their fans Tuesgays. And I was sitting there thinking like, damn, what should I call you guys? What should I call my listeners? And the only thing that came to mind was Radioheads. But the problem is, I believe there's some other fan base that refers to themselves as Radioheads. I think there's some kind of band, Rebel Radio, Rambunctious Radio, Regal Radio, Round Radio. I don't fucking know. Something radio, and they call their fans Radioheads. But I'm pretty sure in the ESL space, y'all are the only ones. I'm pretty sure nobody else calls their listeners Radiohead. So I'm thinking about referring to you guys, the OG listeners, the true supporters, listening to every episode, listening to me ramble on about fucking bullshit. I think I'm going to start calling y'all Radioheads. What do y'all think about that? Somebody take your phone out, go to my Instagram, Tony Kaizen, shoot me a DM. Tell me what you think of that name. Because I like it. I think I'm going to run with it. At least for the rest of this episode, that's what I'm calling you. So, anyway, let me run this by you, my radio. Well, that's what it was. Jesus. That's what I was going to run by you. What do you think about that name? What was I talking about? The gym. That's what it was. Hang on, let me take a sip. of my Red Bull. I'm back on the Red Bulls, guys. It's bad. It's bad because American coffee is trash, and I'm used to paying 30 cents for an espresso. Here, that shit is $3. And you got me fucked up. So I've been doing the Red Bulls or just a cup of water in the morning. But anyway, going to the gym with my brother, who is insanely dedicated to physical fitness. I mean, we are the same height, but he's twice my size. I'm going to say that again. He and I, are the same height, but he's twice my size. Meaning he's not taller than me, he's wider than me. He's fucking jacked. I mean, just his muscles have muscles. You understand what I'm saying? He's all about that gym life. He's what we call a gym rat. Just lives in the gym. That's his hobby, that's his fantasy, that's his fetish, that's his fucking everything. And with 30 kids, it's understandable. You know what I mean? You got to get that fucking stress and aggression out somehow. So I've been going to the gym with him, and I gotta be honest, bro, like going to the gym is actually fun. It's a very good way to relieve stress, build up the body, mental and physical resilience. It's great if you go with somebody. I would never go to the gym just because it was so fucking boring, and I'm just in there lifting heavy shit endlessly. And I'm just like, I just start, or your mind just wanders to dark places, sitting in there just pulling 80 kilos of whatever the fuck it is, man. And just, no, bro, I couldn't do it. I'm more of a calisthenics type of guy. Body weight exercises, that's my speed. But anyway, we've been getting into the gym and hitting it really hard, bro. I think I started way too fast because after the first couple of days, I woke up so fucking sore. I'm talking like everything hurts, bro. It hurts to walk, hurts to climb stairs, it hurts to take a shower, it hurts to turn your head to see who's talking to you, it hurts to like everything hurt. Which apparently is a good thing, right? It means that you are working those muscle groups that you haven't worked seriously in a long time. So I gotta say it's been good, man, and I'm trying to stay on that path of just working out consistently. Because once you get into the groove, then you actually like look forward to it. You start working on different muscle groups. And another thing that I want to learn about in the upcoming months is nutrition. Because what I learned is that it's not just lifting weights. You can actually really hurt yourself by lifting too many weights and not recovering properly, and also not nourishing yourself properly. You got to make sure you're eating the right carbs and the right proteins and staying away from this shit and that shit. And there's a whole science to it that I need to learn, and learn about the protein powders and the creatine and the ketamine and the psilocybin and the fucking all that shit. So that has been, in and of itself, another experience, man. Like, how many of you radio heads out there are going to the gym on a regular basis? I'm very curious to know. And ladies, I'm actually very curious about this. Does a guy going or not going to the gym make a difference to you? Because I'm sure some guys have this idea in their mind that, oh, women want a dude who's fucking jacked, washboard, six-pack abs, big arms, big shoulders, a broad chest and back, and just fucking hams on the, the thick quads and calves and shit. They want a dude who looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger or some shit. But then other dudes, we've seen this before, have like what they call dad bods. A dad bod is short for a dad body, which means the body of a typical father who's like, I don't know, 45, 50 years old. He's not even trying anymore. He hasn't lifted a weight since 86, 250 pounds, got a nice beer belly. You know what I mean? Couldn't run to the end of the street if you paid him $1,000. That type of body. You know what I mean? The typical dad. Out of shape, fat, happy, stressed. That doesn't make sense. Happy and stressed. You know what the fuck I mean. That's a dad bod. And there are plenty of dudes with dad bods that get girls. So ladies, what's your preference there? Do you care if a guy goes to the gym or not? Do you care if he's fat? Do you care if he's lazy and sloppy and shit? Or do you need him to be on some Army Ranger, running 12 miles a day, deadlifting 200 kilos, bench pressing your fucking Toyota Camry. Is that what you're into? What does it for you? Because men and women are different, right? We pay attention to different shit. We're attracted to different things. I don't know a single man who wants a woman that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? Like, a girl goes to the gym, fantastic. Like, keep your body in shape. I appreciate that. But I don't want, or I'm not attracted to a woman that is cut the fuck up and looks like a football player. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I don't know any guy that's into that. I'm sure they're out there. I know they're out there. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, we're not looking for that. And so I'm wondering if, generally speaking, ladies, is that what you're looking for deep down? Does it make a difference to you? Anyway, what else has been going on here in the DF dub since I arrived? The gym, I got a pedicure. I've been hanging out with my nieces and nephews too, man. It's been great to see them. They're all big as shit. Two of my nephews are taller than me and half my age. It's fucking insane. I gotta punch them niggas in the chest, remind them who, you know what I'm saying? Remind them what it is, what type of time it is. You feel me? But no, it's been great, bro. Hanging out with them and playing video games and shit, getting drunk with my brother, talking shit. It's been a good time. And I gotta say, it's been really interesting to see the difference between the way my brother raises his children and the way my sister raises her child. It's very interesting because I don't have any kids, thank God. And I'm watching them raise their children, and my brother is he's kind of militant with his parenting style. It's very, or can be quite aggressive, very direct, very, what's the word I would use? Not crass, but he talks to his children as if they're adults, which is something I really appreciate. I think that's how I would parent my children if I had them. I would talk to my kids as if they were adults. And what I mean when I say that is he's not dumbing down his speech. He's not using baby words or avoiding certain subjects or avoiding saying certain things directly because they're kids and they might not be able to comprehend it. He's like, nah, fuck all of that. You're going to be an adult someday, so I might as well prepare you for that. So I'm talking to you like an adult because I want you to develop into an adult that can handle adult shit and adult speech and adult topics and shit like that. Now, I'm not saying he's cursing out his 5-year-old, but there's not much of a filter there is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it can be very abrasive, very aggressive at times. Sit down, shut the fuck up before I punch you in the chest or go across your face. You fucking, that type of shit, you know? Whereas my sister, on the other hand, even though she can be quite fiery, she can be, you know, she's definitely got that, she's got a bit of my father in her in the sense that she can go from 0 to 100 if necessary, but she's much more like, let me speak calmly and gently and let me listen to you. Let me give you therapy. How you feeling? It's okay to feel your feelings. You can cry. Let's talk about it. Go write in your journal. Kumbaya. Everything's good. You see what I'm saying? So you see the contrast here. My brother is like Army drill sergeant, and my sister is like therapist. You know what I mean? And the effect that it has on the children and the way they develop as people is very interesting to watch, because it just makes me think, like, how would I raise my children? I would have to, like, for me to raise children properly, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be able to do it by myself, but I think the proper way to do it, obviously, is with my wife. So it would have to be with a woman who is like the opposite of me, because two of me raising children, I don't think would be a good idea. I don't think that would be a good idea. Yeah, so you kind of need that balance, right? You need a little bit of the loving, nurturing, understanding, gentle, thoughtful energy, but you also need a disciplinarian, a bit of authority, a bit of you need an enforcer at the same time, somebody who's going to put order or maintain order in the house. You need both, right? I think so, anyway. So yeah, I just wonder, bro. And then like watching them, I'm like, dude, there's really no, I said proper a second ago, but there's no right way to do it. And there's no instruction manual. And so I'm watching them and realize they're just winging it, bro. They don't know what they're doing. They're just doing what they know how to do, which is most likely what they saw growing up when they were kids. And that's why those vicious cycles end up repeating themselves, right? If your mom was cold and distant and narcissistic and emotionally manipulative and shit like that, that has an effect on you. And it's probably going to end up manifesting itself in your romantic relationships. And also, if you have kids one day, some of that is going to rub off on your children because you probably internalize those behaviors. Or you might go the exact opposite direction because you're like, I'm never going to be like that with my kids. So you are the exact opposite of whatever your mom was. And if your dad is this fucking, I don't know, super loving and caring and warm and gregarious, extroverted, outgoing, like just fun to be around type of dude, and there's never any problems, you never seen him angry or whatever, you probably will be the same type of father or mother, whatever, you know? It's just interesting to think about that. Like, you never take a class on how to be a father or a mother, and then you have kids, and I imagine only then you're like, oh shit, how am I supposed to do this exactly? And no matter how many classes you take, no matter how many conversations you have with your parents or other parents, nobody can prepare you for the unpredictability of raising children. There are just certain things you can't go to anybody for as far as counseling or advice, because it's just like, this has never happened. Your parents have never had to deal with a situation like this, or nobody you know has dealt with a situation like this, and you still gotta figure that shit out. And me being so like in my head and analytical about shit, I would constantly be wondering, am I hurting or helping the child by parenting them the way I'm choosing to parent them? How is this going to affect them long term? But you can't really think that way, can you? You can't overanalyze every decision, every interaction, every conversation, every punishment, every piece of praise, every, you know what I'm saying? You can't overanalyze it either, because you'll never do anything or you'll go crazy. And that's going to affect your kid on some level, I would imagine. So it's just something very interesting to observe, bro, is people I know personally, my siblings, raising children. And I feel lucky to be the youngest of my three siblings, because a lot of mistakes that they made growing up and as adults, I was able to avoid just by witnessing them make those mistakes. You know what I mean? My brother will do some dumb shit, or he'll do something with the best of intentions and then it just backfires, or my sister will do some dumb shit and I'm like, oh damn, I don't want that for my life. I'm not gonna walk down that path. I don't know what else is available, but I'm not taking this one. You know what I'm saying? So there is a bit of privilege that comes with being the youngest. If you are observant, obviously you gotta pay attention, and process shit and use your head. But that's something I noticed, that I don't mind being the youngest. I really don't. I also don't mind getting older. I don't really, it's not that I don't understand. I guess I just don't identify with the fear of aging. I don't identify with the fear of getting older. Because if I'm trying to think about it from the perspective of somebody who is afraid of that shit, I would have to imagine they're afraid of, one, their appearance declining. You know what I mean? You can't run as fast as you ran before. The muscles aren't as defined. Maybe your breasts are starting to sag. Your ass is not as tight or plump as it used to be. You got bags under your eyes, wrinkles on your face. You're not getting the same level of attention that you got from the opposite sex and all that shit. So there's a bit of vanity involved. Subconsciously, you're like, I'm getting older, and with every passing year, I'm getting less attractive. And for a lot of people, that's scary, especially for the people whose appearance is their whole personality. You know what I'm saying? You've met these people before, where like they're attractive, so they're living life on easy mode, so they never work on their character or their personality. You know what I'm talking about? Those people for sure fear aging. But then I think on the other, not the other hand, but another set of people probably fear aging because it's like, I'm getting closer and closer to death. And a lot of people, for whatever reason, have a deep, deep fear of death, which is something I just don't identify with. I've zero fear of death. So that's why I don't really identify with the fear of like getting older, because what is there to be afraid of? You know it's coming. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do to escape that, and you have no idea what's happening after that. So what the what is there to be afraid of? There are many, 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 many worse things that can happen to you than dying. You know what I'm saying? Slow death. Jesus Christ. That's scary. Getting tortured to death. That's fucking frightening. Terminal cancer that doesn't kill you right away. That's frightening. There's a bunch of shit. You could lose your legs, get them blown off, get in a car accident, you never walk again. Fucking hey, dude. That's a million times worse than dying. You feel me? Am I tripping? Anyway, getting back to the fear of death. Those are two things that I imagine scare some people, or those are the reasons that they fear death, is the vanity aspect. I'm getting older and uglier and less attractive, and just getting closer to death. And also, I guess there's some like romanticization. Is that a word? Did I say that right? Romanticization. Yeah, that's the word, isn't it? People tend to romanticize youth. I'm young, I'm attractive, I'm free, I can fuck anybody I want, I can travel the world, I can do drugs and party and get drunk, and I can walk upstairs without needing help, and I can fucking do the splits and dress like a fucking, I don't know, dude. But you know what I'm saying. People tend to romanticize youth. We're young, we're dumb, we're crazy, bah! That type of shit. And I've definitely fallen into that too, thinking that like these are the golden years. I'm 21. I'm never going to be this young again. I got to go crazy and be wild. And I've definitely been crazy and wild at times. But at the same time, my perspective is just like, bro, with every passing year, hopefully you're getting wiser. You're gaining more experience. You're making more mistakes and learning from those mistakes and learning how to live life better. Which is obviously easier said than done, because a lot of us fall into behavior patterns and keep making the same mistakes, going down the same dead-end roads and finding ourselves in the same relationships or working the same jobs or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. Getting older is not easy. But it's not something I fear. It's something I welcome. I feel like I get better every year. Or at least, let me say that differently. I try to get better every year. Because, of course, being young and dumb, having no responsibilities, and being more physically adept, that's not even what I'm trying to say, more physically active, maybe. It's all great. But at the same time, when I think back to being 17, 20, 21, I was a fucking idiot, bro. I was stupid, like most 20-year-old kids are, fucking dumb. Just doing all types of dumb shit and wasting time and chasing the wrong shit. And it's like, why would I want to stay in that mind state, or what am I trying to say? Why would I want to stay there mentally forever? Why would I want that? I guess the physical aspect I can understand, but just take care of your fucking body, bro. Go to the gym, work out, eat good foods, go for walks, get some sunlight, drink a glass of water. You'll be fine. You're not supposed to stay young forever. You, like every other form of life, are supposed to age, reproduce, and die. You know what I mean? So that's just my perspective on getting older, dying and shit. It's like, bro, it is part of the cycle that is life. And I'm not trying to get on some deep shit, because I don't view that as deep. I'm just speaking practically or pragmatically. Yeah. But anyway, why was I talking about that? what was I talking about? Parenting, raising children. That's what it was, right? How would I raise my children? And I don't remember how we got on the fear of death and getting older. Oh, probably when I said watching my older siblings make stupid mistakes and being able to avoid them because I was able to see and remember the consequences of their actions. You know what I mean? So it pays to be observant. You don't need older siblings for that. It just pays to be observant, and it pays to be a good listener. It pays in so many ways. Anyway, what else did I want to talk to you about today? My dear Radiohead. Gun culture. That's another thing. Because we are in Texas. We are in the Lone Star State, the land of the guns. If y'all know anything about the United States of America, you know we love our guns. We love our country. We love our soldiers. We love our flag. We love our barbecue. We love our Mack trucks. We love all that shit, man. And Texas definitely lives up to its reputation when it comes to gun culture. And I don't know if I've talked about this before on the podcast, but we're going to talk about it now, my dear friend, my Radiohead, my loyal listener, my confidant. That's what we're talking about, man. And as I was saying, if you know anything about the U.S., or if you think you know anything about the U.S., then you probably think about guns when you think about us. And I will say, this probably isn't common knowledge. And I say that just based off the conversations I've had with foreigners. Not everybody in the U.S. has a gun. And possessing a weapon, possessing a gun, a firearm, is not legal everywhere in the U.S. There's 50 states, and every state has its own laws, which is so bizarre, but that's the way things work here. And so, like, in a state like, let me think, maybe California, I guess, you can't just walk around with a loaded gun in your jeans or in your car or something like that. You can't just do that. It's against the law. You need a permit and a reason to have the gun, and you have to conceal the weapon in a particular way, and you can't take it to certain places, and you can't just shoot anybody just because you feel threatened. Like, there has to, it's certain conditions, or what would I say? Yeah, certain conditions need to be met for you to have the right to not only possess the weapon, but pull it out and use it. And conversely, here in Texas, man, you want to talk about the land of the free? In the state of Texas, as long as you are, I believe, 21, I don't think it's 18. As long as you're 21 years old and you are not a convicted felon, you haven't committed any, what's the word I would use, serious crimes, you haven't robbed anybody, you haven't shot a person, you haven't done anything crazy like that, and you're not a documented psycho, you can walk into a store with a valid state identification card and buy a pistol. The same way you go to buy a loaf of bread or a car or a fucking iPhone. You just walk in there, say, I want the Glock 19, give me the hollow points, I'll give you a box of ammo, give you your gun, and you out the door, bro. And I don't know if you take it home the same day. I think they might do a background check or some shit. You get it a couple days later, but that's all you need to purchase the weapon. And on top of that, I think in 2021, they passed a law that says you no longer need a permit. You no longer need permission to carry your weapon literally anywhere you want. You can ride around your city with your gun in your car. You can walk into fucking Walmart with a gun in your pants and nobody cares. Nobody says shit. It just is what it is. Now, obviously, places like schools, government buildings, there's certain, like, I think hospitals, there's certain places where you can't take guns. Like, if they say no firearms allowed in this establishment, then you obviously can't take your gun in there. But just the general public, you can take your gun anywhere you want. You can have a loaded shotgun in the back of your car for everyone to see, and nobody can do anything about that. You can buy an AR-15, and nobody's gonna bat an eye, bro. They're not gonna think twice about it. You just want to defend yourself. You just want to defend your home with an automatic rifle. We understand. That's the American way. Good on you, right? That's just the culture here. That's just the way it is. And I think a lot of people outside the U.S. and actually some people from other states don't really understand that mentality. A lot of people are against the possession and use of firearms. They don't like guns. They think that guns create more violence. They think that guns are dangerous. Nobody should have the right to possess a weapon. And generally speaking, those people have never been in a situation where they wish they had a gun. They've never been in a situation where they needed a gun to defend themselves. And I'm generalizing, of course. And I say that to say that the mentality here, in my estimation, from my perspective, is every individual has the right to defend him or herself, his or her life. And so if somebody approaches you, or even worse, enters your home with the intention of doing harm to you or the people you love, you should have every right to take their head off of their shoulders. You should have every right to fill them with lead. You should have every right to fill them with holes, to end their life, to send them on to the next, to send them to meet their fucking maker. You should have the right to kill them, period. Because that's exactly what they're trying to do to you. And so that's the mentality here. It's like, I don't want to hurt anybody else. I don't want to have to use this weapon. But if I'm ever in a situation where I need a weapon to defend myself, I would rather have the weapon than not have the weapon. You know what I'm saying? So I think personally, it really is that simple. It's not like, oh, I'm badass, I got a gun, I can kill anybody, even though there are some people out there like that. I think for the majority of people, it's just, no, I have a right to protect myself. The same way you have a right to go learn Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu or Taekwondo or boxing or whatever to defend yourself. It's the same shit to me and a lot of people here. It's just like we just want to be able to defend ourselves. Even against, and this goes back, I don't know the history on this. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just stuff I've heard in school and growing up. But even going back to the colonial days, if we can call it that way, I believe the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights was created to protect, or for the people to be able to protect themselves against a tyrannical government. Because imagine the government comes in and wants to control the way you live or take your rights away, take your property or take this or that. You should have a right to defend yourself. So you want to come take my shit? Well, you're going to have to take it from my cold, dead hands, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality. It's just to protect yourself from all threats. And you don't know who's a threat, so you got to keep your fucking eyes open. And your gun's loaded. You know what I mean? And I know for a lot of people that's scary. That doesn't sound logical. It doesn't sound like a good idea. Because if everyone has guns, then everybody's just going to be shooting at everybody. We can't have that. We can't have murder in the streets. We can't have murder in the school. We can't have murder in the butt. Right? A lot of people think that way, and I totally get it. But I will say, and this is just my experience, can't speak for anybody else, Texans are some of the most polite and respectful people that you will meet in the United States of America. I know that online and in the media, they have a reputation for being extremely racist. Southern people in general, American people in general had that reputation. And of course, there's a lot of racist people, but they don't all live in the United States. And they definitely don't all live in Texas. So, I mean, of course you have some of that, but generally speaking, Texans are very respectful, polite, well-mannered people. And I have to imagine a big part of that is because so many of them have guns. You know, they say an armed society is a polite society. So what does that mean? To be armed, just in case you don't know, means to be in possession of a weapon, a firearm, a pistol, or a shotgun, or a rifle. Something that goes pow pow and ends people's lives, right? That's what it means to be armed, to be in possession of a firearm. So an armed society, community, public group of people tends to be a polite, well-mannered group of people. Now, why is that? Because they all know if somebody gets fucking sideways, starts getting out their body and disrespecting people, assaulting people or whatever, shit can get real ugly real quick. You understand what I'm saying? You start popping off at the mouth and yelling and getting in my face and encroaching my personal space, making me feel nervous, making me feel like you want to do something to me and my family. I'm going to pull out my gun. I'm going to shoot you. And nobody wants to get shot over something stupid. A disagreement, an argument, a bit of road rage or a misunderstanding. Nobody wants to die over some dumb shit like that. So why don't we all just behave ourselves? Why don't we all show each other a little bit of respect, a little bit of courtesy, a little bit of decency, so that we can all go home and see our families tonight? Nobody wants to die. You understand? And just think about it. Like if you go into a room and you know the person sitting in there with you has a gun, even if it's only subconsciously, you're going to show that person more respect than you would show them if they didn't have a gun. The same way when you're talking to a professional fighter, when you're talking to somebody that you know can kill you with their bare hands, if they wanted to, not even if they had to, just if they wanted to, if they just woke up and said, I feel like killing somebody today, they could do that with their hands. You're going to show them a different level of kindness and respect, because if you get out of line, they are going to put you back in line, and that could be the end of you. And I think that's why an armed society is a polite society, because nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I'd like to get shot today. I don't know anybody that thinks that way. So people wake up and they show each other respect, because you got a gun, I got a gun, and if we're not careful, we might have to use these bitches, and nobody wants that. So let's just fucking take it easy. And conversely, you go to places or you interact with people who have never been involved in physical conflict, or never witnessed violence, murder, gunfire, stabbings, anything like that. And this, I'm generalizing, of course, generalizing, but they tend to be much shittier towards people. When people feel safe, when people feel superior, when they feel like there's nothing you can do to them, they show you, even if it's subconsciously, much less respect and decency and courtesy. Because they know no matter what I do, nothing's going to happen. I can be as shitty as I want to be. Nobody's going to do anything to me. And that's not just an armed society. I mean, even if it's a society where the community polices itself, you know what I mean? If it's a group of people who have that mentality where it's like, if this person gets out of line, everybody in the room is responsible for putting this person back in line. It's not about the guns. It's about the culture, the mentality. So a community that polices itself properly is also a more polite and respectful community. And most communities don't police themselves properly. But the Texans sure do. I'll tell you that right now. This is a gross generalization. I'm just guessing here, but I would say in the majority of places in Texas, you can be pretty sure that any place you go, at least 50% of those people have some kind of gun, either with them or in their vehicle. So mind your fucking manners. You know what I'm saying? Texas is the shit. In that aspect, anyway. In that aspect, yeah. So, and of course you might be thinking, well, Tony, what about you? Do you have guns? Do you keep weapons? Huh? Are you a trained killer? And all I'll say is, my house is not a house that you want to come into uninvited. That's all I'll say. I think the majority of Texan houses are not houses you want to come into uninvited. And I'll just leave it at that. But I encourage you, man, if you ever make the choice to come visit the States and you have an opportunity to come down to Texas, get yourself on down here, man. If you've never shot a gun before, I would say go try it. If I can go get a fucking pedicure, you can go and shoot some guns. Take yourself down to the range, which is the place where you can go practice shooting guns. There's a target 20, 30, 50, 100 meters away from you, and you can rent a gun, all kinds. They got Glocks and Smith & Wessons and Sig Sauers, and I've even seen a dude shooting an AK-47 before, AR-15s and all types of shit. And you buy some gun or some bullets, I mean. They take you down to the lane. They look like bowling lanes almost. And you load your weapon, put on your eye and ear protection, and just let it loose, bro. Have some fun. Which is kind of crazy to think about, because The first time I ever went to a gun range, I was sitting down there loading my weapon, looking at all these dudes shooting these weapons, thinking to myself, there's nothing stopping these guys from massacring everyone here. You know what I mean? They didn't do a background check. They didn't fucking ask what my middle name was. They didn't ask if I had ever murdered a person. They were just like, what type of gun you want? What type of ammo you want? Here you go. Have fun. So any dude that goes down to a gun range could literally just like, he just woke up one day and decides, you know, I just feel like killing people. I'm going to go to the gun range. I'm going to get an automatic rifle. I'm going to act like everything's cool. I'm going to start shooting at the target. But there's 15 other people down here with me shooting guns at their targets. I could literally just turn 90 degrees and fucking unload on these people and murder everyone. And nobody would be able to stop me. Or eventually they might stop me, but a lot of people would die before that happens. You understand? That was one of the first thoughts I had when I went to a gun range. I'm like, who's regulating this shit? Is there a sniper up on some rafters just making sure, just watching, just in case somebody gets the urge to murder everyone here? You know what I mean? There's no wall separating us. There's nothing stopping one person from shooting another person. We're fucking half a meter from each other. That is bizarre. To me, that's bizarre. I don't know if that's ever happened. God willing, it will never happen. But that's just, you know, shit that runs through my mind from time to time. But yeah, get yourself down to Texas or some other state where shooting guns is legal. And I'd say go for it, bro. It's definitely an experience. It's a lot of fun. I love guns. Always have. I just think they're fascinating. What would you call them? They're not machines. Devices, apparatuses. It's a very interesting work of engineering. Can I call it that? Because work of art sounds weird when talking about a gun. A work of engineering. The mechanics behind it and shit is very interesting. And the fact that it was invented so long ago blows my fucking mind. Engineers are the shit, man. They don't get enough respect. They really don't. But anyway, yeah, I'm fascinated by guns. I love them. I want to know how they work. Different types of bullets and what they do to the body. What a fucking bullet does to human flesh, to bones, to cartilage is fucking insane, bro. You guys should check out the YouTube channel. Of course, I forget the name now. I want to say High Speed Ballistics. High Speed, Ballistics, I believe is how you spell ballistics. And all these guys do is they have a high-speed camera, which is essentially that camera that records video, but in super, super slow motion. And so then they take all types of different guns with different bullets, and they have these, I don't even know the right term for it, but think about like a crash test dummy or a mannequin, but it's made out of something that is meant to resemble human flesh. It's made out of some kind of gel or silicone or something like that. And internally, it has something that resembles bones and organs, and there's fake blood in there and shit, and it has a skull. So you can shoot at it and simulate what it would be like to shoot a human being. And so then they set up the high-speed camera, and they'll have like an AR-15 or a 50 cal or a 9mm or whatever. And then they're shooting this test dummy, if we can call it that, but in super slow motion. So you see the bullet traveling at who knows how many meters a second, just ripping through the flesh of this dummy, creating fucking golf ball sized holes in the flesh of this bite. It's fucking insane, breaking bones. And oh dude, it's wild. It's wild to see in slow motion what a bullet can do to the human body. It's fucking insane and fascinating. As I said, it's really cool shit. So I would say check it out, man. Maybe you're afraid of guns, which is understandable. Although they say, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, they do say that guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. Now, that's kind of cliche at this point, but that is something they say. Whenever they have the age-old debate about whether or not guns are bad and whether or not they cause more violence, whether or not they should be legal to possess or whatever, you know, the people in support of gun possession and ownership will say something like that. Guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. Gun doesn't fire until you squeeze the trigger, so a human had to do that. A gun is just a gun. That's like saying cars kill people, but it's not. It's the person driving the car after they've had 17 whiskey sours. He's the one that killed that fucking old lady crossing the street. You know what I mean? And again, I don't know how you feel about that. That's really up to you. I'm just telling you what they say. I'm just reporting the news on Real English Radio. You feel me? So yeah, gun culture is a stereotype in the U.S., but for good reason, because depending on the state, depending on the region of the country, people love their guns, man. They fucking love their guns. And it makes me think, man, that, and it's going to get dark, but if you're a real radio head, if you're a real listener of the podcast, you know me by now, bro. So I'm going to just go for it. This is something that I thought, I've thought this for a very long time, but now that I'm in Texas shooting guns and shit, I'm driving around and I'm coming from Bangkok where people drive as if, how can I put this lightly? They drive as if they're the only ones on the road. I'll say it that way. What I want to say is they drive like they're fucking retarded, but that's a bit harsh, isn't it? But that is what I mean. They drive like they're fucking retarded, I swear to God. But then coming here to Texas, it's the same shit, just a different velocity. Like in Thailand, people tend, at least in Bangkok, people tend to drive quite fast and recklessly. Here in Dallas, Texas, bro, I swear to Mary and Joseph, everybody's going like 30 kilometers an hour every fucking where they go. Whether it's a 1-lane road, a 2-lane road, a 3-lane road, whether it's a 1, a 2, or a 3-lane road, everybody going the same fucking speed. Bro, that shit drives me up the, bro. It drives me up the wall. It makes me crazy. I want to fucking, dude. And so getting to my point, I am a firm believer in the idea that shooting people should be legal under certain circumstances. And I'm sharing this with you to see if I'm the only person that thinks this way. Don't y'all think that there are certain situations where it should be lawful to put a bullet in another human being? Y'all don't think that ever? You're gonna sit there and act like I'm crazy? Come on, bro. Come on. Driving slow in the fast lane on the fucking highways. 3 lanes on a highway. In the U.S., we drive on the right side of the road. And on a highway, the lane farthest to the right is the slow lane. We don't care if you drive slow. Just do it in that lane. The middle lane is for a moderate speed or passing. The left lane is for driving fast. It's the fast lane. And so you get this motherfucker, this self-centered fucking, there's so many words I could use. I'm trying to keep it reasonable. Jesus Christ, this fucking, just the type of person that's just like, fuck everyone around me. I'm the only thing that matters. That type of piece of shit, bro. Just driving slower in the fast lane than people drive in the slow lane. Got a line of cars behind them, just totally either oblivious to what's going on around them, just not paying attention, or they're like, I'm more important than all of you motherfuckers, so go around me. Fuck you. I want to drive slow in the fast lane, so that's what I'm going to do. It's one or the other. You're either not paying attention or you know exactly what you're doing. There's no in between. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I'm not sure which one is worse. Because we've all been oblivious at times. You get in your head, you're not paying attention, whatever. I guess that's excusable. We're all human. But it's like you know me, bro. It's a person with no self-awareness is not a person I can be around for long periods of time. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then on the other hand, as I said, somebody who just is so self-centered that they're like, fuck everyone else on the road. The only thing that matters is what I want, and I want to drive slow in the fast lane. We collectively should have the right to put a bullet in that person. Is that too much? What about in the tires, bro? At least can I at least drive up to the side of this motherfucker's car, roll down my window, and pop two in one of his tires, so he fucking spins out off the highway into a ditch or some shit? Can I do that? Would that be acceptable? I don't want to kill him. I just want to fucking remove him from society. I just want to fucking, dude. Come on, bro. You gotta be with me on this shit. There are certain times when it should be permissible to end a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Talking too loud in public. These are the other ones. Get on a subway, car, or you're in line at the grocery store. This motherfucker's talking as loud as he can on the phone so everyone can hear his conversation. You should be able, whoever's standing behind him should be able to quietly send him to the next life. And then there will be like some employee will just come out of the fucking shadows and drag his body off to the back. We don't need that floating around in the gene pool. We don't need that motherfucker reproducing, to creating more self-centered, fucking oblivious pieces of shit. We don't need that. You know what I mean? We don't need that shit. Shouldn't we be allowed to? What about another one? Football pitch invaders. I know if you're a football fan like myself, and I'm talking world football, soccer. If you're a football fan like myself, you have almost certainly seen the grown-ass men, 30, 40, 50-year-old men who think it is socially acceptable to leave their seat, run down the stairs, jump onto the pitch or the field. British people say pitch, American people say field. It's the same thing. So they jump onto the pitch, interrupt the game. They take their shirt off and they're swinging it around, screaming, having a good old time, or they want to like stop the game to get a picture with Messi, kiss his feet, get a picture with Ronaldo or some shit. Should we not have the right to shoot these people? Should we not have the right? I mean, what the fuck, bro? I understand if it's a 12-year-old boy, an 8-year-old boy, young, dumb, excited. You see your favorite player. You don't have any life experience. Your parents didn't raise you right. You hop onto the pitch, make a scene. You know, you're going to be on TV. You'll be on ESPN tonight. You'll be on YouTube and TikTok and all that shit. You'll be famous for a few hours. I get it, bro. But you're 35. You got a wife and kids at the crib, bro. And you're acting like a 12-year-old boy because Ronaldo is standing in front of you. You're going to ruin the game for not only the 22 people playing the game, but the 70,000 people in the stadium trying to watch the game and the millions of people at home watching it on their TVs. You are more important than all of that. And you're going to run onto the pitch, fuck up the game, and take a selfie with Messi. Are you fucking... Bro, these people, man. Again, there should just be a sniper at every game. Like, oh, we got one. Just put a slug in his fucking cranium. You know what I'm saying? Is this too dark for y'all? Am I getting too violent? I'm just saying, bro. People like this, some people deserve to be educated. You know? People walking or driving on their phones. You know those people walking through the city looking down at their cell phone? Absolutely no awareness of what's going on around them. Bumping into people, holding up traffic, slowing shit down, causing car accidents and shit. Punishable by death if I were king of the world. Punishable by fucking... Dude. Anyway. That's why I could never be president or dictator of a country. It would be bad for people, bro. It would be bad. So many people would just fucking... Let's move off that topic, bro, because I imagine most of y'all don't have the mental issues I have. Anyway, I want to move on. I want to experiment with something new. I have no idea how we're doing on time because I'm recording with some wireless mics. I don't know how long I've been recording. I'm sitting here at this local high school near my dad's place, just getting some fresh air. It's quiet, except for the cars, obviously, but it's quiet, it's peaceful. It's a beautiful day. So forgive me if this is, I have no idea how long we've been going, but fuck it. Another thing I want to experiment with on the Talking About Nothing series, because I don't know when or where else to do this, is something called Peeves, Recs, and Shouts. And when I say peeves, I'm talking about pet peeves. And maybe you don't know what that is. A pet peeve, P-E-T, pet, P-E-E-V-E, peeve. A pet peeve is something that you just find deeply annoying. Something you can't stand. Something that really grinds your fucking gears. Something that just, you know, it ticks you off. Really irritates you. That's a pet peeve. So when somebody asks you, what are your pet peeves? They're asking, what are those things? Or somebody might say, that's a real pet peeve. And what they mean is that's something that really fucking irritates me. I hate that shit. That's a pet peeve. And then what did I say next? Recs. In this case, rec, R-E-C, is short for the word recommendation. So when I say I got a good rec for you, I got a good recommendation. Now, not everybody says that. I got that from one of my favorite podcasts. They say I got a good rec, and what they mean is recommendation. And then when I say shout, I'm referring to a shout out. And a shout out is what we call a shout out is when we take a moment to give someone or something praise. Want to highlight something good that somebody did or something that we really appreciate. So when I say shout out to my boy Mateus, when I say shout out to all my listeners in Japan, shout out to my listeners in Mozambique, shout out to my listeners in Bolivia and Brazil, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Algeria, Kyrgyzstan, France, Ukraine. When I say shout out to all of y'all, what I'm saying is like I'm taking this moment to say I appreciate you, I love you, I'm highlighting or recognizing you. I want everybody to know how much I love this person or this thing. That's a shout out. So anyway, peeves, recs, and shouts. I kind of feel bad about doing pet peeves now because I just finished talking shit and joking about murdering people for 20 minutes. But anyway, let me run through these. I'm thinking from now on, in every Talking About Nothing, I'll share some pet peeves, some recommendations, and shout out a few things or people. All right, my dear Radiohead. So let's get right into it. Pet peeves. Let me run this one by you. And this is a strange one. I'm very curious to know if I'm the only one that gets irritated by this shit. And it's not even really irritation. It's just disdain. I don't like it. When you get on TikTok or Instagram and the person who's making the video is getting ready while they're recording the video. And just in case you don't know, to get ready, depending on the context, basically means to be getting dressed, doing your hair and makeup, brushing your teeth, washing your face. You're getting ready to go somewhere. You're preparing yourself, your appearance and shit like that to go somewhere. So you see a girl like set up her phone and her professional $200 ring light and be doing her makeup while recording the video. Like she's using the phone camera as a mirror and she's talking to you while also doing her makeup. So you're just standing there, you're looking like dead in her face, watching her apply eyeliner and lipstick and foundation and concealer and all that shit. I don't know why that shit is so distasteful. I really don't like to watch that. And I don't know why. It's just something I really don't appreciate, bro. It's so fucking weird to me, you know? Or a girl would like literally, again, set up a professional fucking recording scene, the lights and the camera, action, all that shit, and be getting dressed. She's got on a bra and panties, and the video starts with her putting on her pants, putting on her shirt, doing her hair while she's talking to you. Y'all don't think that's fucking weird? That shit, I don't know why. It just irritates me. And it shouldn't, because it has nothing to do with me. But I'm just like, bruh, I remember, and this is something that, this is not off the top of the head. I saw this somewhere and it resonated with me. I remember when I was in high school, if a photo or a video of a girl who was naked or having sex or in her intimate clothing got released to the public. Like, for example, when you're in high school, a girl might send you a naked picture, or she's in her bra and panties, she sends you a picture of that. And a lot of young, dumb guys would like send that to all their friends. Look at what she sent me. Look at this chick, blah, blah, look who I'm fucking. And then they send it to some other people and some more people and some more people. And before you know it, the whole school has seen this girl naked. She would be fucking mortified, bro. That would be the end of her life. She would be so deeply embarrassed and ashamed. She wouldn't know what to do with herself. Because that's a very private thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a very intimate thing. Your naked body. You in intimate or sexy clothing or some shit like that. You only send a picture like that, or in the past, you would send a picture like that to somebody you trusted and who you were physically intimate with. Man or woman. Dick pics, naked photos, nude, whatever. In the past, when I was in high school, that's the way it was. You don't want everybody seeing that shit. Fast forward to 2024. Men and women just like half naked, getting ready in their bra and panties or their fucking boxers or whatever, doing their makeup and all that, just for the world to see. Y'all don't think that's weird? And I find it ironic because the age-old complaint that everyone loves to say or mention is they're stealing our data, there's no privacy, they're tracking us, they're listening, blah, blah, blah. And those very same people will be half naked, dancing or getting dressed or doing their makeup on TikTok for potentially millions of strangers to see and share with other people. Y'all don't think that's fucking weird? Y'all don't value privacy? That's just odd to me, why anybody would do that. It's very odd. You would never invite a stranger into your home, ladies, and say, hey, you want to watch me do my hair and makeup and get dressed? You would never do that. But because it's on the phone and you don't see the strangers looking at you and you get likes and comments and followers, is that why you do it? I'm asking. I'm not assuming. I'm asking. Why do y'all do that shit? That is fucking weird. That's fucking weird. I guess what puzzles me is how and why a lot of people just don't give a shit about privacy anymore. The most intimate moments of people's lives are just uploaded to the internet for attention. It's fucking weird, bro. I don't get it. So yeah, I hate to see that shit. Just, I don't know what it is when I'm watching it. This girl's got her face right in the fucking camera doing her makeup. I don't want to see that shit. The fuck? I don't know what it is. I don't have a word to describe the feeling, but it's not a positive one, you know? I scroll immediately. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm curious to know if I'm the only one who has an obscure disdain for that type of thing. So hit me up. Hit me up. Let me know if I'm tripping, because I'm sure it's not a big deal. Right? It doesn't affect me. This shouldn't bother me, but it does. Anyway, let me run another one by you. Another pet peeve, my friend. This happened all the fucking time when I was in Thailand, bro, is when you are on the elevator, you arrive at your floor, the doors open, and before you can take half a step off the elevator, whoever's waiting to get on is rushing into the elevator. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, you're getting off the elevator and they won't give you 2.5 seconds to completely exit the elevator before they get on. They see you exiting the elevator and at the same time they choose to try and enter. So now you have to pass each other and like turn sideways so that you don't bump shoulders aggressively and get into some kind of confrontation. Because if I do that, then I'm the asshole. But it's like, I was here first. I'm getting off. Like, the elevator's not gonna fucking leave you, bro. It's programmed to wait a few seconds so that I can get off and you can get on. Just fucking wait. I know I'm not tripping, bro. Like, I can't be the only one that finds that fucking irritating. Because again, if I say something, now I'm aggressive and I'm the asshole. When to me, that's just like common sense. That's just human decency. The elevator's not going anywhere. What are you in a rush for? Where do you have to be? You have nowhere to be. If you were in a rush, you would run down the stairs. Fuck off, bro. Let me exit the elevator. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's a fucking pet. I just, you know what it is? Just any form of inconsideration. I think that's what it is I'm way too considerate. And so I'm expecting everybody else to be considerate. And I don't mean in every aspect of life, just like public places, you know what I'm saying? Just be decent, give people space, be patient, wait your fucking turn, all that type of shit. That, for whatever reason, is important to me. So when I come across a fucking insert insult here, when I come across one of those, yeah, it grinds my gears, bro. I'm like, dude, you couldn't wait 2.5 seconds to let me exit before you entered? The fuck is wrong with you, bro? Just, dude. It's such a pet peeve. I don't understand what the rush is. Because it's not like they're running onto the elevator and pressing the button. I gotta go, let's go. They're not doing that. They're casually strolling onto the elevator as if they have nowhere to go, because they probably don't. They're not moving as if they're in a rush. They're just in a rush to get on the elevator. When they see you exiting the elevator, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? What is wrong with you? Give me a bit of space, nigga. What the fuck? Anyway, you know, another pet peeve. This is the last one. Enough negativity for this fucking episode. The last pet peeve I have for you today is when I'm in a group discussion, a group conversation, talking to more than one person, and someone asks me a question directly. Tony, what do you think? Tony, do you know the answer? Tony, blah, blah, blah. It is painfully clear the question or comment was directed to me. And somebody else sitting at the table, sitting in the room or whatever, thinks that it's their turn to speak. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody asks you a question, but somebody else in the group tries to answer the question before you do, knowing that nobody was fucking talking to them. I cannot stand that shit. I don't know what it is, bro. Not only is it rude, it's just like, bro, nobody was talking to you. And 9 times out of 10, the person who answers questions that weren't asked specifically to them, they don't even know the fucking answer. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time it's like, well, I heard it's blah, blah, blah. Or I don't know, but I think it's blah, blah, blah. Well, if you don't know, then shut the fuck up, nigga. Nobody was talking to you. You understand what I'm saying? You understand my frustration? Fucking A, dude. I cannot stand that shit. And everybody's raised different, right? Everybody has different values and codes and regulations and perspectives. I get it. But I don't know. Just the dudes I grew up with, I was taught not to talk out of turn. If they weren't talking to you, there's no reason for you to be speaking. They weren't asking you. Why are you talking? Especially if you don't know what you're talking about. Sit down and shut the fuck up. Try to learn something. Be quiet, bro. Nobody was talking to you. I can't stand that shit. In a group conversation, nobody was talking to this person, but they feel the need to talk at that moment. Nobody was asking you, but you, for some reason, feel that it's your turn to answer the question. Shut the fuck up, bro. If I wanted your answer, I would have asked you. Or I would have addressed the group. What do we all think? Do any of you know? But no, I was talking to Jason. I was talking to Ashley. I was talking to fucking whoever. I wasn't talking to you. Why are you answering a question I didn't ask you? You know what I mean? Shut the fuck up. And then not only that, you don't even give like, I asked her. You didn't even give her a chance to answer the question. You spoke first. Like, the least you can do is let her answer the question or tell me she doesn't know the answer. And then, well, I know you didn't ask me, but I heard maybe blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's helpful to you. Maybe this information will be helpful to you. Now that the person I was talking to has had a chance to respond to the question or statement I made to her. Am I tripping? Do y'all understand what I'm trying to convey here? What I'm trying to fucking get across? I cannot stand that shit. It makes me want to get up and introduce my elbow to their fucking jaw. It really does. I can't stand that shit. Oh, bro. I'm getting irritated just thinking about it, bro. That is a real pet peeve. Just thinking about it, you get irritated. And just thinking about people like that fucking irritates me. But that's enough negativity for this talking about nothing, isn't it? That's enough. Let's move on to some recs. A few recommendations I got for you, my friends. The first one is a podcast. This is Real English Radio. If you're listening to this, you're most likely a podcast lover and listener. And really anything in English is going to be useful to you as long as it's entertaining. And one podcast I find very entertaining is the We Might Be Drunk podcast. It's hosted by the comedians Mark Normand and Sam Morril. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the platforms. And it's, again, two comedians from the U.S. One's from New York, the other one's from Louisiana, but they both live in New York. And in every episode, they're drinking a different type of alcohol. They're both big drinkers, so they have a drink or two, they get a little bit tipsy, a little drunk, and they're just talking shit. They talk a lot about movies, they talk about comedy, they talk about New York City, they tell stories. It's very entertaining. Sometimes they have different guests on the show. So I've been watching that one a lot, and I really enjoy it. Highly recommend it. Another one, also hosted by two comedians, is Tuesdays with Stories. I think I mentioned that earlier in this episode. Hosted by Mark Normand as well. He's on two different podcasts. And the comedian Joe List. Three of my favorite, by the way. Sam Morril, Mark Normand, Joe List. Three fucking killers, bro. They're great comedians. And both podcasts are very entertaining for different reasons. Tuesdays with Stories is exactly what it sounds like. Every Tuesday, Mark and Joe sit down and just tell stories. Because they're traveling comedians. They're always on the road, performing in different cities, getting into crazy shit, just living their lives. And they tell stories. The stories of their lives. That's what they do. And very funny people. Mark, I think, is the king of zingers and one-liners, at least from my generation. It's fucking hilarious, bro. I love those two. They're really good together. They've been doing the podcast for like 10 plus years or something now already. So if you like listening to stories, dry, ironic, kind of sarcastic humor, dark humor, shit like that, then Tuesdays with Stories is definitely for you. So check that one out. Let me look at my list here. What else I got? A bit of anime for all my anime lovers. I know some of y'all listening are into the animations, the Japanese animations. So the one I got for you today is called Psycho Pass. Let me see how that shit is spelled. Jesus. P-S-Y-C-H-O, Psycho Pass, P-A-S-S. Psycho Pass. I should have written a description because I'm horrible with this shit, but I'll give it my best. If I had to explain the plot, it's essentially some type of futuristic scenario, sometime in the future, where the police. It's half of the police are actual detectives and the other half are psychotic criminals. And what happens is they have these particular weapons where you point the weapon at a person and they use some AI technology to measure how crazy that person is, how likely they are to commit a vicious crime. And so if their crime probability rate is above a certain number or threshold, then the police have a right to arrest or even shoot that person and neutralize them or even end their lives. And so your Psycho Pass is kind of like your, what would you call it? You know how like in China they have the social credit score, where if you're a piece of shit human, your score is very low and you lose rights and access to certain things. If you have a high score, then you live a good life, for lack of a better way of saying it. It's kind of like that. So everybody has a Psycho Pass. And that Psycho Pass tells you their name, where they're from, and how likely they are to commit a crime, if they're a good person or a bad person. And so it's not the best explanation of the plot, but that should give you some kind of idea. I would say check out a trailer on YouTube or something like that, because even if you're not the biggest fan of the story writing or the voice acting or whatever, it's still very interesting from a morality standpoint. The ideas of good and evil and who has the right to determine what is good, what is evil, how we determine those things, you know what I'm saying? Who gets to enforce the law and why? All that type of shit to me is very interesting, anything philosophical. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's a very interesting series because it's honestly something that we might find ourselves having to deal with in the future. You never know the way things are going to go. If we already have something like a social credit score in a country like China, it's not obvious to me that it'll never be like that in other parts of the world at some point. You know what I mean? So highly recommended. It's one of those that I probably wouldn't watch again, but it's still good enough to recommend that you watch at least once if you're into that type of stuff. And the last recommendation I got for y'all is a YouTube channel called Athletic Interest, spelled exactly how it sounds, Athletic Interest. And I've came across this channel, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And you can think about it like Netflix for people that love sports and business. Because in every video, they talk about the business of sports. Like why Adidas signed Messi instead of Nike, or why Germany no longer uses Adidas for their national team shirts, or why Roger Federer is a business genius, or Michael Jordan, or Tom Brady, or whatever, or what's going on with FIFA, or whatever. They talk about the business of all these different organizations and teams and business-minded athletes. So it's very interesting, the detail that they go into, and they're very well-produced videos. Because they're never too long, they're never too short. The animations are fantastic. They got some German dude doing the voiceovers in English, and he's got a very warm kind of like just pleasant, positive type of vibe when he's narrating the videos and shit. The videos are never boring because the animations are very well timed. The imagery is great. They're very simple and easy to follow. So I would say if you're into business, sports, and stuff like that, then definitely check out Athletic Interest. All right, let me move on to my shout-outs real quick. I think I got 2. Hang on. Yes, now these are random, by the way. Again, I'm experimenting here. I've never done this before. But I just want to take the time to shout out all of the staff and personnel working at the airport in Osaka, Japan. When I was coming back to the States, I had a layover in Japan, and I'm pretty sure it was Osaka that I stopped in. I'm pretty sure. And what I noticed, which is something I had never seen before, 2 things, actually. The first one, actually just one, because the second thing is the second one I wanted to shout out. So anyway, one thing I noticed when I was there is that when you're waiting for your flight, generally in the US, like if you're waiting for your flight, they might come on the loudspeaker near your gate and say, "We're boarding the flight. This is the last call. Anybody who hasn't boarded the flight, this is your last chance, or we're leaving without you. Get here, get on the plane now," that type of thing. And if you don't hear that, if you're 100 meters, 200, 300 meters in the other direction getting some food or some shit like that, they will just fucking leave you. But I noticed in Japan when I was there, they actually had 2 individuals running through the airport looking for passengers that hadn't gotten on the plane yet. So imagine a flight is leaving in 5 minutes. You literally have 5 minutes to get on the plane, put your bags down, take a seat before they take off and leave your ass. At that moment, they're not just coming on the loudspeaker saying, "Flight 567 to Korea is leaving in 5 minutes." No, there are 2 people literally running through the airport, calling your name, trying to let you know you're about to miss your flight. I don't know if they only do this in Osaka. I don't know if this is a countrywide thing. I don't know if they do this in other countries, but I had never seen that before. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, maybe this is a person of interest, a very special human being, or I don't know what the situation was, but I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. I've never seen that. But they kept doing it, flight after flight. They'd be running through the airport looking for the people that were supposed to be on that flight, trying to let them know, hey, you're about to miss your flight. Please come get on the plane. I thought that was so fucking thoughtful, bro, and like generous. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to do that. It's your responsibility to be at the gate on time and board the plane and all that shit. So for them to be doing that, I'm like, damn, that's fucking a nice thing to do, bro. That's a really generous gesture. To be literally running through the airport looking for strangers that are supposed to be on a particular flight. Because it doesn't affect your life either way. They already paid for the ticket, and you're just an employee. It doesn't change your life in any way. So the fact that they have their employees do that, or those employees just wanted to do it, is unique. It left an impression on me. So shout out to all of the employees at Japanese airlines. Y'all are fucking amazing. Much love to y'all. Keep doing your thing. Which leads me to the second thing I wanted to mention. These people I want to shout out, which is something I noticed in Japan for sure. But I noticed it in many places, which is those people who are working regular jobs that aren't the most fascinating or prestigious or interesting, yet they still take pride in their work. You know, those people that you could walk into like a convenience store or the cashier at the grocery store or the person cleaning the bathrooms or the guy making bread at the bakery or cutting up meats at the butcher shop or whatever. And they, even if this isn't what they dreamed of doing as a kid, even if this isn't what they want to be doing with their time, they still dedicate themselves to their work and they take pride in it. They take pride in the fact that they're doing an honest job, making an honest day's pay for whatever job they're doing, and they don't bring all of their stress and neuroses and anxieties and anger and sadness and frustration to work. You would never know what's going on with them or if they're in a bad mood or whatever. They're just always just bright and positive, and hey, they engage in conversation and they ask if you got everything you need and how's your day going or whatever, and they're like, you get the impression they're happy to be doing what they're doing, even though they have no reason, theoretically. You can't think of any reason that they would be so happy to be doing that particular job. And you just get the impression that it's like, well, this is my job and I have to do it, so I'm going to do it to the best of my ability and I'm going to make the best of the time I have while I'm here. I don't know if this is what they think, but this is just the impression they give. Fucking shout out to those people, bro. You know what I mean? Especially like when I was overseas, when I was in Thailand, when I had that layover in Japan, when I flew on some Korean airlines. It's very common over there for people to take their work seriously, to take pride in what they do. I come back to the US, and of course, our idea of professionalism might be different. Our culture and our norms are different, but you get a lot of people, man. And this is everywhere, not just the US. And I'm sure you find these people in those countries I just mentioned. But a lot of places you go, the person's fucking miserable. And so they make everyone around them miserable. And they look at you with an ugly face and they're like, look at you like, what the fuck do you want? Get your shit and leave. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Don't ask me no questions, bro. Fuck you. You know those people that for whatever reason are just not happy where they are on that particular day or with life in general, and for that reason all that negative energy and misery is just oozing out of their soul and getting onto your shoes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not judging, you know what I'm saying? I've almost certainly been that guy before. What I'm saying is I'm shouting out the people who aren't like that. I'm taking a moment to praise the people that take pride in their work, no matter what that work may be. Or they make an effort not to bring their bullshit to the workplace. And they just do the job to the best of their ability and make sure that their customers are well served and have a good experience so that they come back and keep spending money there. Shout out to those people, bro. We need more of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not easy. So I appreciate that shit, man. If you're listening and you're one of those people, I appreciate the fuck out of you. All right, my friends, but I think that's enough for today. That's another talking about nothing in the books. I'm about to go get some barbecue or some shit because I'm in Texas, enjoying myself, having a good time. I hope everything is good with y'all, man. And I'm going to talk to you soon. Peace.